Hey everybody, this is take 2 of this video because I did the whole thing and forgot to press record, but here we go. This is lesson 7-4. We're going to be doing rational exponents. This is kind of a long lesson, okay? So press pause where you need to and catch up with your notes. I'm not going to read all of this. There's a lot of this that won't make sense as I explain it, but will make sense when we start doing the examples. So let's look at nth roots. Not all exponents are integers. Exponents are expressed as a fraction. They're called rational exponents. One of the most commonly used rational exponents is 1/2. So expressed with an exponent of 1/2, expressions with an exponent of 1/2 can be represented as a square root. So instead of a to the 1/2, we would have a squared. There's an invisible, this is weird because usually it's invisible 1, there's an invisible 2 right here. Okay, so what does this right here mean? So this number is called the index. The number on the inside of the radical is called the radicand, and of course this is the radical symbol. So when we read this, we would say the 5th root of 18. Okay, so 5 is the index, 18 is the radicand. This is the radical symbol. So for any real number, a is the nth root of b. So if a is to the n power and it equals b, then a is the nth root of b. Okay, so 3 to the 4th power equals 81. So 3 is the 4th root of 81. Some numbers have more than one nth root. So 3 squared can be 9 and negative 3 squared can be 9. So both 3 and negative 3 are square roots of 9. Okay, so we write it a lot like this. This is the 5th root of 32 is 2. That means 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. There's 5 2's there. So it's 2. Okay. The 3rd root of 8 can also be written as 8 to the 1/3. So whatever, let's explain it this way. Whatever, I'm going to have a to the 1/5 power. And then I'll do a to the 2/5 power and show you. So the numerator is going to be in whatever the exponent is. So this one's 1, so there is no exponent. I'm just going to put a in here. The denominator, that is your index. So this one would be an index of 5 with a and an exponent on the outside. Okay, so this number is the exponent and this number is the index. Okay, let's take a look. A lot of today's work can be done in a calculator, so pay attention so you understand how to use the calculator. So I have 10 to the 1/2 power. Well, 1/2 means there's an invisible 2 there and a 10 on the inside. So it's a square root of 10. This one I have 7k to the 2nd, the square root of 7k to the 2nd power. Well, my 7, I have to put the 1/2 there because I can't find the square root of 7, but I know it's going to be to the 1/2 power. This, it's almost like 1/2 of 2 is 1, so this is just going to be, okay. So exponent and index, it's almost like dividing them. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 2g to the 1/2. Nothing's happening to the 2, so the 2 is going to stay there. G to the 1/2, though, I can flip it to just be g inside of a square root, because there's my invisible 2. And then 86. So 86, the square root of 86 is just going to be 86 to the 1/2 power. So they're used interchangeably. There's that invisible 2 right there. Okay. Is there a check? There should be a check. I forgot to check on one of them. We'll have to write it in. Can't turn pages. There you go. So go ahead and press pause, try these, and come back and check your work. So I have 16p. You can find the square root of 16. Let's take a look at that now. On this calculator, the square root button is above the x squared. You have to use seconds to get to it. We'll use that one in a second, but right now we're using just the plain square root. So I'm going to press second, square root, and I'm going to put my 16 in there. Or this one you could probably do in your head. What times what equals 16? 4. So I have 4. And then my p, I can go to the half. I'm going to show you square root on this one. This one, you kind of work from the outside in, so you're going to press 16, and then you're going to press the square root button on this one is right here. So square root 4. Okay. Now moving on, b, 34 to the half power is the same as the square root of 34. 8p, the 8 to the square root of 8 and the square root of p. The 8 stays the same, but the p goes to the half power. So this whole thing is in parentheses and then put to the half power. So I'm going to just do this whole thing in a square root in the radicand. Okay? Moving right along, example 2. So this is saying what number can be multiplied by itself 5 times to get 243? I could make you factor it, or I can show you how to put it in a calculator, which the book is going to show you in a little bit. So on this calculator, I start with the number on the inside. So, oh no, I don't. I'm sorry. I start with this number, the index on the outside. So I'm going to press 5. This is the radicand when it has something on the outside. So I'm going to press 2nd, and then I'm going to press that one right there. Now you see it's got this index. Now I'm going to put my number under the radicand, which is 243. I don't have to put a parenthesis or anything like that. I can just press equals. My answer is 3. So 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 243. Don't believe me? Try it. Now let me show you with this calculator using this one. Okay? So this one you have to work from the inside out. And it's kind of weird because it doesn't show everything. So I'm going to start with my 625. 625. Then I need my radical symbol. The one with index on the outside is actually going to be this one right here. So I'm going to press 2nd, and then I'm going to press that button right there. And you see it doesn't really do anything. Now I got to press my index, which is 4. It doesn't give me the answer until I press equals. Look, my answer is 5. Okay? This is the one where I messed up and forgot to give you a check, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to write the check right here. You're going to do the 4th power of 4096. Try it. Pause. Try that check. I love this calculator when it comes to this one because it's a lot easier. So I'm going to do 4. 2nd, the radicand with something on the outside, with the index on the outside, 4096. 4096. Enter. The answer equals 8. Okay? Moving right along. Example 3. They wait until this one to show you how to use it with the calculator, but I am totally against having to do more and more and more work and confuse yourself where you could accidentally do it wrong. So I'm just going to show you how to use the calculator. It's right here. It's easy. So let's look at this one first. I'm going to put my main number. 4096. Whoop. 4096. This is an exponent, so I'm going to use the caret. Right there, I use the caret. This is a fraction, so I actually have to use the parentheses to put it in fraction form. Parenthesis, 1 divided by 6. Make sure you end the parenthesis, otherwise the calculator messes up. So now you have it written on there, and we're going to press enter. My answer is 4. Okay, so I do want you to know that you can flip back and forth between these two just like you could with the 1/2. Remember that this goes on the outside for the index, and whatever this is an exponent. In this case, we don't have an exponent because it's just 1. Okay, I'm going to switch calculators in order to do this one, because this one is the same thing, but it's going to look weird. So I'm going to start with my 343, 343. I'm going to use my exponent button, which this one is yx. I still need to do parentheses and put 1/3 in parentheses, but watch what happens. Parenthesis, the parentheses pop up here, but it doesn't show me anything. I'm going to do 1 divided by 3. I need to end my parenthesis. So I'm going to end my parenthesis, and it changes my fraction into a decimal, but this is not my answer. You have to come press the equals button, and then it gives me my answer of 7. Okay? Rewind and watch it again if you need to see me do that again. Now I'm going to move on from example 3 and look at a check. It's your turn. Okay? This is not divisible. If you do this, you're going to end up getting a really big decimal. So you need to do each individual one to the 1/4. Okay? So I'm going to do 81 to the 1/4. This is my favorite calculator to do this with. So 81 caret parenthesis 1 divided by 4, 3. So I've got 3 on top right now. And then I have 256 caret parenthesis 1 divided by 4 end parenthesis 4. So 3 over 4, which equals 0.75. Most of the time they want it shown in fraction form. Okay? Try that one if you haven't already. I'll switch calculators. When doing this one, make sure you write all those zeros. So 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, see, I did it wrong. Clear? 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Now I have the right number of zeros. There's my YX button because that's my exponent button. It's a fraction, so parenthesis 1 divided by 5 end parenthesis. Look, it changed it to my decimal. I got to press enter. My answer is 10. Okay. Moving on to example 4. I'm going to example 4. So the power of a power property extends the definition of b to the 1/nth to include b to the mn. So this is what I was talking about before. The top number of your fraction, so your numerator is your exponent, and your denominator is, so looking at it over here, that's confusing. Your denominator is your index, okay? So that would be the exponent, and that will be the index, okay? So if you look here, this one I can actually divide. 15 divided by 5 is 3. That was easy. That one's 1. So sometimes you can divide them, and that's easy. Sometimes it's not, and you have to separate them. We'll see that here. Okay? So I'm not going to do it this way because I can put that in the calculator, but I need to know the top number is my exponent. The bottom number, my numerator, is my index. Because you might have problems sometimes that tell you to write that in a square root form or in root form. Okay? So I'm not going to figure out all this. I'm just going to put this in the calculator because it's the easiest way to get an answer, and that's what we need to get to is the answer. So I've got 729 caret parenthesis 5 divided by 6 end parenthesis equals 243. My answer is 243. Okay. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to switch calculators so that you're seeing both of them used. I have this one, you have to do this and then this. Otherwise, you get a really crazy decimal because you're going to get a big answer as a fraction. They see I'm working it out this way. They see it individual, individual, turn it to the square root. We're just going to put it in the calculator because it's easier. Okay, so 36 caret, well, this one is the YX button, exponent, there's the bell, parenthesis, 3 divided by 2, there it turns into a fraction, press equals. My top number, my numerator, is 216. We do it again for the bottom, for the denominator. Clear? 49, exponent, parenthesis, 3 divided by 2, end parenthesis. There's my fraction, or there's my decimal, equals, bottom is 343. So this is my answer. Okay? Turning the page. You're going to try now. Check, check. Pause. Here we go. 49, caret, parenthesis, 3 divided by 2, end parenthesis, enter. 343. I highly suggest if you don't remember this that you actually write the steps down somewhere, because I know this isn't going to show a lot in your notebook when you're taking notes, because it's like, oh, there's the answer. How are you getting there? Okay, you got to remember how to get there, otherwise your notes don't help you. Switching calculators, so you're seeing both calculators. 243, exponent, parenthesis, 3 divided by 5, end parenthesis, there's my decimal, press equals. There's my answer, equals 27. Okay, I hope you're starting to catch on, being able to use the calculator. Don't freak out, it's actually really easy. Okay, and I'm actually going to ignore most of this. I'm doing the same thing, but it's going to show it. So for insects, the resting metabolic rate can be determined by this formula. R equals 4.14 m to the 2/3, where R is the resting metabolic rate in cubic milliliters of oxygen per hour, and m is the body mass of the insect in milligrams. Determine the resting metabolic rate of a 125 milligram ebony jewel-wing damselfly. So hey, look, it literally told me determine the metabolic rate of that milligram. M is body mass. That's the body mass, okay? I'm going to rewrite it over here, and you can kind of see what they're doing over there. So I have R equals 4.14. Instead of M, I'm going to do 125 to the 2/3 power. Now, I have to do exponents first. So I'm going to put this into the calculator. So I'm going to go 125, caret, parenthesis, sorry, can't see it, there you go, 2 divided by 3, end parenthesis, equals. So this equals 25. Okay, but I still need to multiply it by 4.14 to figure out what R equals. Okay, so I'm going to take my 25 and multiply by 4.14, and I get 103.5. Let's look at what they did. I plugged in 125 there. I got the answer. They put it down to 5 squared instead of putting it in the calculator, and then you multiply that by the 25 in order to get the 103.5. So the resting metabolic rate of an ebony jewel-wing damselfly is 103.5 cubic milliliters of oxygen per hour. Okay? So they try to trick you with all these words that you don't necessarily hear every day, but you just got to figure out what's the main part. What am I trying to figure out? Oh, there, I plug it in. Okay? So pause, try this one on your own. The profit, P, in thousands of dollars of a company is modeled by the equation P equals 3.7 C to the 6/5, where C is the number of customers in thousands. Determine the profits of the company if they have 32,000 customers. C is the number of customers. I'm replacing 32,000. I'm replacing C with 32,000. So I've got P equals 3.7 times 32,000 to the 6/5. Put that part in the calculator. Trying to make it where you can see it. There we go. 32000 exponent parenthesis 6 divided by 5 end parenthesis enter. So that's a big number right there. I'm going to write it down so I don't forget it, but yeah, here we go. 25478.5892. Okay, let me make sure I'm not messing up here. I shouldn't be. Nope, here we go. I'm not going to press any buttons because from here I can get my answer on the calculator. I'm just going to multiply this by the 3.7. So times 3.7 equals, here we go, it is that number right there. See that big number? I did something wrong. Oh, guys, what did I do wrong? 9427, that would be that one, but I did something wrong. What did I do wrong? Where C is the number of customers. Let me switch calculators and try this again, because that seems really big. It does say 6 over 5. The book says the answer is supposed to be B, so let's figure out how they say the answer is supposed to be B. We just got D by doing it the same way they did it before. So let's try this again. I've got 32000 exponent parenthesis 6 divided by 5 parenthesis equals, there's that big number, times 3.7. I think our book might have made a mistake. I think it's D. Let me flip it to 5 over 6 and see if we get that. Maybe the book did make a mistake. So 32000 5 over 6. Let's see. Times 3.7. Nope. I don't know. If you can figure it out, let me know. But this is the one that I'm getting, doing it the way that we were taught. Okay? Plug in C, 6 over 5, multiply by 3.7. This is what I get. I'll look it up. Ask me about it. Okay? One more. Apply properties of exponents to rational exponents. So we just got to pay attention, right? Looky here. That's a 0, so everything in this equals 1. 1. This is like half. You're still multiplying. Half of 2 is 1. Ooh. So I'm just going to ignore all this and just do it. 2 times 1 half. Half of 2 is 1, so this is just going to be x. But y, there's nothing there, so it's going to be y to the 1 half. Okay? I'm going to work it out on the side so I don't confuse myself or you. But I'm probably going to have to show you this part. Okay? So this is a subtraction problem. 4 over 3 minus 2. 4 over 3 minus 2. Well, that's 2 whole. So how many of those make a whole? 3 over 3 would be 1 whole. So 2 would be 6 over 3. So I've got 4 over 3 minus 6 over 3. 4 minus 6 is negative 2. So right now I have negative 2 over 3. So 8, negative 2 over 3. But I can't leave it negative, so they pushed it down. See right here? They pushed it down. Now we can, really I just want to put that in the calculator. They separated it. Let's just put it in the calculator. You got to take it all the way. So 8 caret 2 divided by 3. 4. But that is my denominator. So this is going to be 1 over 4. Okay? If they separated it out this way, what times itself 3 times equals 8? That's 2. It's squared. 2 squared is 4. Okay? Last one. First we got to do exponents. So I've got 4 over 3 times negative 2. Okay? So 4 over 3 times negative 2. It's going to be negative 8 over 3. Right? That's negative 8 over 3 times, or to the exponent of this one. So I actually am going to end up having to push that down. Actually, look, these are the same. So I can't push that down yet. I now have 4 plus negative 8 over 3. So 4, I'm just going to add them together. I'm going to have to change this. 3 times 4 is 12. So I've got 12 over 3. That equals 4. Right? And then plus negative 8 over 3. What does this equal? 8, or 12 minus 8, or 12 plus negative 8 is 4 over 3. Okay? So I now have 4 over 3. Did I do that right? I did that right. That's fine. So I now have, it's right here where we're putting it. 4 over 3. It ends up being what we had originally. It's kind of funny, actually. So this is my 1,331, 4 over 3. I put it in the wrong spot. They separated it out, but I'm going to put it into the calculator. So 1,331 caret parenthesis 4 divided by 3 end parenthesis equals, that's my answer, 14641. Okay, I know this part can be kind of confusing, but ask if you need help. Okay, you're going to try it now. Try it with the check. There's 3 of them there with the check. So pause, try, watch the video if you have trouble, and then if you still can't figure it out, ask for help. So I have to do my exponent. So I've got this to the 3/4, right? One, 2, 9, 6, caret parenthesis 3 divided by 4 parenthesis. So now I have 216, 216, and then m to the 3/4 because it gets that too. Over, let's do this one. 1296 to the half. 1296 to the 1 divided by 2. 36. Well, I'm not done because I need to see, can 216 be divided by 36? So 216 divided by 36. Well, yes, it can. It equals 6. So 6, and then you bring over your m to the 3/4. I know these start to look bigger when they're fractions, but okay, over here, this is like the one we just did. First, we have to do this exponent. So I've got to do 5 thirds times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. This has a 1 over it, over 3. So I've got 10 over 3. So I'm going to do 64 to the 10 thirds. So 64 caret 10 divided by 3. That equals that number. No, I shouldn't do that yet because they're both the base of 64. So I'm going to add these two. So ignore that part. I am going to be left with an answer of, I have -4 plus, because it's a multiplication problem, 10 over 3. But I can't add that like that. I need to turn that into a denominator of 3. So 3 times 4 is 12. So this is going to be plus -12 over 3. So 10 plus -12 is -2 over 3. And so I've got 64 to the -2 over 3. But I can't do that, so I have to push it down. So I'm going to turn this positive and put it on the bottom. And now I can figure out what 64 caret parenthesis 2 divided by 3, it's 16. So this should be 1 over 16 because it was negative, so we had to push the whole thing down and make it positive. Okay? One more. This whole thing is 0. So the exponent of 0, so it turns into 1. I need to multiply by 5. So 2/5 times 5 is going to be 10 over 5. Well, 10 divided by 5 is 2. So this is going to be a to the 2nd. And then the b gets the exponent of 5 too, so it's b to the 5th. That one was actually really easy. Okay? We're going to have a lot to practice when we do teacher time. So if you did not understand any of these notes, I highly suggest watching it again. And if you still don't understand after watching it again, ask questions when I come to your table for teacher time or come in for tutoring for Pass Club. Bye.